Falling, I heard his voice echo from the precipice above. Consider this a gift, Ryder. Now, she's mine forever. The world tilted, a sickening lurch in my gut, as gravity claimed me. A searing pain erupted through my body with the impact, every bone protesting, every muscle screaming. The last image burned into my mind was Finn's cruel, triumphant smirk as he looked down at me. Ryder, don't blame me. I recalled his cold words from moments before. I just love her too much. Without you, Celeste and I can finally be together. A suffocating cold seized me, my body feeling as though it were tearing itself apart. With my last vestiges of strength, I fumbled for my phone, which had tumbled beside me. My trembling fingers managed to dial Celeste's number. It rang twice before she hung up. Gasping, I called again. Still nothing. Then, a message popped onto my screen. Ryder, just die out there. Don't ever come home. Her words, sharp as a blade, pierced through me, even as the storm's relentless rain lashed down, stealing the last warmth from my body. In the next breath, everything went black. All senses vanished. Even the agonizing pain dissolved into nothingness. When my eyes opened again, I saw Finn, standing at the edge of the cliff, dusting off his hands. He picked up a jagged stone, then deliberately, brutally, scraped shallow, bloody gashes across his arm before heading down the rain-slicked path. It was only then that I realized my body lay broken at the base of the cliff, while my soul was trailing Finn. I was dead. Finn had pushed me, killed me. A bitter ache constricted my chest at the realization. The irony was a cruel joke. I had ventured into this storm-battered mountain tonight for one reason: to rescue Celeste's idealized hero, her white moonlight, Finn. And that same man had just murdered me. Perhaps Celeste was satisfied. I had, after all, died out there just as she'd wished. Crestwood Residences, please. Finn's voice was hoarse as he settled, soaked and exhausted, into the taxi. Crestwood Residences. That was Celeste's in my home. Why was he going there? As a disembodied presence, a tremor ran through me. Memories flooded back, replaying Celeste's furious face as she'd practically shoved me out the door just hours ago. Ryder, you have to go save Finn today, she'd insisted, clutching my sleeve. He's your best friend, and he's my savior. You're a rescue worker. How can you just stand by? My throat was raw, my voice raspy. Celeste, be reasonable. There's a hurricane out there. It's impossible to climb the mountain. Why would Finn suddenly go up there? And if he could contact you, he could easily call emergency services himself. Slap. The sharp crack echoed in the confined space. I froze, stunned. How can you be so suspicious of him? How could he lie to us? Celeste's voice trembled. It's raining so hard. If he called the police, he'd be accused of misusing public resources, probably shamed online. He said it wasn't raining when he went up, and his hand is injured. He can't save himself. It's a lingering injury from when he risked his life to save me that year. Her eyes reddened. Ryder, please, go save him. He'll really die in this storm. Watching her tear-filled eyes, my heart twisted. My wife, begging me, humiliating herself, all for another man. This storm was dangerous for Finn, but not for me. And that year, I was the one injured saving Celeste, leaving me with a permanent disability that disqualified me from active rescue duty. But whenever that accident was mentioned, Celeste became distraught, so I kept silent. She mistakenly believed Finn was her true rescuer. Since then, she'd often made my life difficult over his needs. I couldn't perform a rescue anymore. If I went, I could truly die. Yet, I opened my mouth to protest again. Seeing my hesitation, her face twisted into a fierce mask. Ryder, I'm telling you, if anything happens to him today, it's on you. If he dies, I won't live either. You're a rescue worker, seeing death and doing nothing? I'll expose you online. Let everyone see what kind of hero you really are. When Finn knocked on my door, I hovered beside him, my thoughts a chaotic whirl. Would Celeste see him and realize I was gone? Would she come looking for me? Finn, who was supposed to be rescued, was back, but I wasn't. She had to realize something was wrong. A surge of frantic hope flared within me, desperate for Celeste to notice my absence. But the scene that unfolded next was like a bucket of ice water doused over my spirit. Celeste opened the door and flew into Finn's arms. Finn, thank goodness you're safe. I was so worried. Finn hugged her tightly, feigning vulnerability. Celeste, I thought I'd never see you again. Ryder. He saw me, but he didn't help. He even threw rocks at me, almost sending me over the edge. He showed her the shallow cuts on his arm, sobbing pitifully. I begged him to save me. He just cursed me, said I deserved to fall for being a homewrecker. A chill enveloped me. Finn had always claimed we were best friends. I never imagined he had been seducing Celeste all along. When Celeste first mistook him for her savior, he'd even promised me he was only seeing her for therapy, to help her recover. Don't worry, old friend. I'd never betray my brother's wife, he'd sworn. But everything had been a carefully planted seed of disaster from the start. I hadn't even known their relationship had become this intimate. I'd believed Celeste's concern for him was simply gratitude for her perceived rescuer. Now, it was clear he was far more than a savior to her. That despicable Ryder. Why isn't he dead yet? How can a rescue worker do such a thing? Where is he? I want a divorce. Celeste, distraught, stroked Finn's superficial wounds, then turned her anger on me. I gave a bitter laugh. I was dead. Was she satisfied now? Finn held her, but out of her sight, his lips curled into a subtle smirk. He tried to kill me, so I pretended to pass out. He must have thought I was dead and fled. Perhaps he realized he'd committed murder and couldn't come back. Celeste, always quick to temper, slammed her hand on the table and stood. He actually dared to try to kill you? Let's go to the police. We have to catch him. Finn's face flickered. He quickly found an excuse. He didn't actually kill me, so they can't do much. Besides, he'd probably seek revenge on me. Celeste, instead, seemed touched by his apparent understanding. Even so, I have to get him to explain himself. This can't stand. She grabbed her phone to call me. Of course, it wouldn't connect. My phone lay with my body, forever lost at the foot of the mountain, in the cold dark. This only solidified her belief that I had run away. The call went to voicemail, and her eyes darkened, on the verge of tears. She sent 2 furious voice messages to my grayed-out social media profile. Fine, Ryder. You betrayed your duty, and you betrayed me. Marrying a coward like you is the biggest regret of my life. Her anger, like a switch, suddenly flipped. She went online and posted, "That hero rescue worker tried to murder someone. Behind the shining facade of a hero lies a devil." My identity, as a well-known rescue worker, naturally attracted attention. I'd been in the news for several high-profile rescues and even had a modest online following. Netizens affectionately called me Rainy Wind, a play on my name and the phrase timely rain. Though she hadn't named me directly, her post quickly went viral. "Oh my God, is this real? Look at the IP and description. Isn't this the guy who was famous online? He was trending a few times. Everyone called him handsome back then. LOL. Come see. This is the type of guy your hero really is." Wait, this post is a bit too much. Why didn't the victim call the police? Why ask a rescue worker to come privately? That's against protocol. Don't just casually slander a hero. Getting clicks has limits. Celeste, grinding her teeth in fury, immediately retorted, "Who's making things up? I guarantee everything I posted is true." But the situation quickly spiraled. Undeleted photos from her personal page were dug up. Isn't this Ryder's wife? Why is she posting this? Who knows what she wants? At Ryder, control your wife. Is she hacked or just chasing clicks? A hero's family wouldn't post this kind of stuff, would they? No matter how many times netizens tagged me, there was no reply. Even some of my friends called Celeste. "Celeste, are you two fighting? Ryder isn't like that. Are you mistaken? Or hacked?" Even if the post is true, Ryder couldn't have done such a thing. "Celeste, you should be careful. Maybe that guy is tricking you." Who knows? Maybe Ryder ran into trouble, and that's why he hasn't returned. Celeste couldn't argue with them. Her eyes bloodshot. She roared. How could that scoundrel Ryder be in trouble? He's just faking it. What kind of trouble could a rescue worker get into? Shortly after, Celeste received a call from the police. Someone had reported her online post. They also informed her they couldn't reach me and advised her to be careful about what she posted, warning against spreading false rumors. No way, no way. Not being able to reach him is solid proof, isn't it? Of course he committed a crime and fled. Why don't you believe me? Ms. Lewis, please calm down. But Celeste couldn't. She violently hung up, stormed into the bedroom, grabbed our wedding photo from the bedside table, and smashed it to pieces. "Don't!" I screamed. But Celeste couldn't hear me. She snatched our marriage certificate and tore it into 1,000 pieces. The shredded paper fluttered from her fingers like ruined petals. As if that wasn't enough, she ripped down all my awards and commendations hanging in the living room, tearing and pounding them. Ryder, what kind of hero are you? What spell did you cast that everyone defends you? These were the awards I'd earned risking my life to save others. They were the heartfelt thanks from countless people I'd rescued. They made every scar on my body feel worthwhile because I had saved lives. But their warm smiles, their sincere gratitude, became mere garbage in her hands. I lunged to stop her, but my ghostly fingers passed uselessly through her body. Strange. Spirits couldn't cry. So why did I feel hot, wet tears streaming down my cheeks? Ryder, I truly regret choosing you. Celeste's voice was trembling slightly. She sank to the floor, muttering, "You said you'd be loyal to me, but why did you abandon me and leave?" Celeste had always lacked a sense of security. She had survived a horrific accident where her parents died protecting her. A lonely child, she grew up guarding her family's wealth, targeted by grasping relatives and surrounded by people only interested in her money. She'd been betrayed too many times to trust easily. When we were together, she often tested me, asking countless times if I would betray her, if I would leave her. But I knew it was her way of seeking reassurance. I'd seen her wake in the night, trembling, crying out for her parents. So, countless times, I had held her, telling her I would never leave, I would always be by her side. But not this time. Celeste suddenly sobbed, uncontrollably, hysterically. "No one will ever stay with me. No one will steadfastly choose me, not even you. You're a liar. Didn't you say you'd always be my hero, always protect me? Where are you? Ryder, come out. You really want a divorce, don't you?" Her cries echoed through the empty house, but no one answered. She could only watch helplessly as Finn rushed in, holding her tightly, letting her sob into his chest. "Celeste, I'll love you. It doesn't matter if Ryder didn't. I'll love you forever. I'll never leave you. Not even in death." His words were so eerily similar to the promises I had once whispered into her ear. I wished I could tell Celeste that everything he said was a lie. He was the one who killed me. I never betrayed her. But I could do nothing. I was dead. My dearest person, my wife, cared nothing for my life or death. Yet, strangers, people I'd never met, were deeply concerned about my fate. How could it not be ironic? Celeste finally calmed down. She whimpered in Finn's arms. "Finn, you're so good to me. He treated you like that, and I'm his wife, yet you don't care." Finn cut her off. He wiped her tears, his expression serious. "He doesn't deserve to be your husband. Let me love you from now on." Celeste looked at him blankly, then nodded softly, burying her face in his chest. "Finn, you're my hero. Everyone else doubted me, but only you stayed by my side." But where she couldn't see, I watched Finn's lips curl into a cold smile. He whispered something, and I read his lips. "Ryder, all your efforts were useless. What's mine will always be mine." My soul felt trapped beside them, forced to watch Finn move into Celeste's, our, master bedroom. Celeste's phone was still bombarded with messages. At Finn's urging, she turned it off, cutting herself off from all news. The next morning, as they ate breakfast together, the local news played. Tragic accident at Redwood National Park. Last night, a male hiker slipped and fell from a cliff. No signs of life found. Celeste's head shot up, her fork clattering to the floor. Finn's face went white. A flicker of vengeful satisfaction sparked within me. Did he think no one would know he pushed me? He never expected this, did he? No matter how well you lie, the truth always finds a way. Celeste slowly turned, her eyes scrutinizing Finn. His hands, hidden beneath the table, nervously clawed at the tablecloth. I, hovering beside him, was ecstatic. "Celeste, do you see? I was wronged. See his true face, avenge me." But to my astonishment, Celeste let out a long sigh of relief. "Finn, thank goodness you have good fortune. Otherwise, the person on TV today could have been you." Finn's tense body immediately relaxed. He chuckled. "Yes, I kept thinking I had to get back to you, Celeste. You're my lucky star." He speared a piece of pastry, intending to feed her, but Celeste stopped his hand. "Finn, your right hand is hurt. I'll eat it myself." Finn feigned emotion. "Celeste." Just as he finished speaking, he suddenly knelt, pulling out a ring. Celeste gasped, her eyes glistening with tears. "Celeste, I know you've always wanted a proper proposal. Everything Ryder couldn't give you, I will." Celeste, will you be with me? Finn smiled, slowly slipping the ring onto her left ring finger. But that ring was unmistakably mine. I had bought it. Before, Celeste, in a desperate bind over a forced business marriage, had dragged me to elope. There hadn't been time for a wedding, only a quick courthouse ceremony and a few photos. I knew how important a proper proposal was to a woman, so I had secretly planned a grand proposal and wedding, just waiting for the perfect moment to surprise her. Afraid she'd find it, I'd entrusted the ring to Finn. He'd even thumped his chest, promising, "Don't worry, buddy, I'll keep it safe for you. And remember to invite me as your best man." I never imagined he'd been eyeing Celeste even then. It must have been her family's wealth. He wanted to win her over, to use her as his stepping stone to a luxurious life. What a pity I was dead. Everything had fallen into his lap. The ring and Celeste. Celeste gazed at the beautiful diamond ring on her finger, tears streaming down her face. This time, they were tears of Gandong, moving emotion. "Finn, you really know what I want." She seemed to have finally made up her mind, looking at him with resolute eyes. "I will. Once Ryder comes back, I'll divorce him and marry you." Just then, the doorbell rang. "Hello, we're from Starlight Events, the wedding planning company. We're here to discuss wedding arrangements. Is anyone home?" Celeste was even more surprised, clutching Finn's sleeve. "You even arranged this?" Finn looked a little flustered, perhaps overwhelmed. She couldn't help but rise on her tiptoes and kiss Finn's cheek. How romantic! As Celeste ran to the door, Finn's face suddenly went ashen. He instinctively yelled, "Wait, Celeste, don't." But she had already opened the door. "Excuse me, are you Miss Celeste Lewis?" the person outside asked. "Yes, that's me," Celeste replied sweetly. "We're here to confirm the order." The person who booked the wedding service was. They were interrupted. "Mr. Finn, is that right?" The wedding planner frowned. "May I reconfirm? Is this address 307 Willow Creek Lane?" Celeste froze. "Yes, 307 is my home." She seemed to realize something was wrong, listening in silence as the planner continued. "But our order shows that the wedding service was booked by a Mr. Ryder Evans." It was as if she only now remembered the existence of her legal husband, me. Celeste ignored all of Finn's explanations, ushering him out of the house. "Finn, I'm tired. Let's talk another time." She closed the door, sitting on the sofa for a long time before finally speaking. "Ryder, why did you give me hope now? Why didn't you just leave completely, cut ties cleanly? I would have just assumed all these years of my sincere affection were wasted. But where did you run off to? Why don't you even want to see me?" She mumbled, then opened her phone, only to be inundated with news. Victim at Redwood National Park believed to be Ryder Evans, the man slandered online last night. The mystery of Ryder Evans' death. Murder or accident? The truth concealed? His wife's lies a death knell. Celeste, whose heart had softened, wanting to reconcile with me, was infuriated by these reports. "Fine, Ryder. You even bought fake trending topics, fake news. Is this your way of getting back at me?" She furiously typed on her phone. "He's not dead at all. He's definitely hiding somewhere, manipulating public opinion. Don't be fooled by him. He's a cowardly scoundrel, unworthy of your trust and love." To her surprise, she typed many words but couldn't send them. Her account had been locked for fabricating and spreading rumors. A sad, ironic laugh escaped me. Even now, she refused to believe I was gone. Celeste gasped, throwing her phone to the floor. "Ryder, you'd better actually be dead. Don't ever come back. Just die out there." A moment later, she picked up her phone and called me again. "I don't believe it. Answer your phone." But no matter how many times she called, she only heard a recorded voice. "The number you have dialed is currently unavailable." I looked at the 2 rejected calls at the bottom of her screen, sighing softly. The last 2 calls I made to her, she hadn't answered. Now, she never would again. Just then, the doorbell rang again. "Ryder's back." Celeste jolted. She rushed to open the door, a torrent of curses ready, her hand raised to strike. "Ryder, you finally decided to come home? I'll expose you. I want a divorce. These past few days you..." She stopped, stunned, facing a group of uniformed police officers. Her raised hand slowly dropped. Finally, she seemed to grasp something, her face turning chalk white. The lead officer nodded gravely. "Ms. Lewis, this morning, we found your husband's body at the bottom of the valley in Redwood National Park. We need you to identify him. When Celeste was brought in to identify my body, she happened to see Finn being escorted past in handcuffs by a group of officers. Seeing Celeste, he struggled to turn his head, but was sternly warned by an officer. No tricks. Celeste stammered. Finn, why are you here? As if a realization struck her, her body suddenly trembled. No way. The officer beside her stated grimly. Ma'am, he is the suspect in your husband's murder. We extracted his fingerprints and palm prints from your husband's clothing. A sliver of satisfaction pierced through me. He wanted to hide the truth? Too naive. The truth always finds a way. When she was led into the inner room, she finally saw my body on the table. I hovered beside her, looking at the cloth-draped form, finally feeling the full weight of my own death. My face was pale, my eyes closed, my entire body looking so tragically unlike myself. Celeste disbelievingly clapped a hand over her mouth, but tears streamed uncontrollably, tracing paths over her hands and dripping onto the floor. Wake up! She screamed my name hysterically. Ryder, how could you leave me like this? I don't believe it. You must be faking. You're ignoring me, aren't you? But the person on the table would never respond to her again. Cold and silent, his eyes would never open to smile at her again. She laughed and cried, looking like a madwoman. Haha, you tricked me. You even ordered a wedding. It was all a trick. I know you don't want me anymore. You want to abandon me. Celeste rambled incoherently, lunging to shake my body, but an officer gently restrained her. Ma'am, please, compose yourself. But the dead cannot be brought back to life. The finality of it seemed to finally sink in. She sank to the floor, burying her face in her hands, letting out desperate, heart-wrenching sobs. Ryder, I was wrong. That day, I shouldn't have let you go save Finn. At the mention of Finn's name, she suddenly became more lucid. She stood up, her eyes blazing with fury, her fists clenched, her voice hoarse. It was him. He killed you. I want him to pay for your life. I want revenge for you. She tried to rush out to find Finn, but was stopped by an officer. Are you next of kin, ma'am? We've arranged the deceased's personal effects for you to collect. On the counter were my phone and a broken jade charm. The officer added, this was found in the deceased's pocket. Seeing the broken jade charm, Celeste, who had been raging for revenge, finally collapsed. Her body went limp, and she knelt on the floor. The bloodstained jade charm was broken into 4 or 5 pieces, with the characters for peace carved into it. It was the first token of affection Celeste had ever given me, and it was the very thing she had smashed with her own hands the night she forced me out of the house. That night, our argument had been even more heated. Ryder, you're just afraid to die. Celeste had raged, standing her ground. You're a rescue worker. Your duty is to save people. Besides, he saved me. We owe him. How can you just watch him die? Do you have no conscience? I suddenly felt utterly exhausted, and she seemed so utterly alien. If you owe him, you go pay him back. Why drag me into this? And that year, I was the one who saved you. That day we were trapped. Not only was there a storm, but rocks kept raining down, hitting our faces and bodies. Celeste was even hit on the head, bleeding profusely, almost unconscious. Finn was useless, just screaming hysterically until he was exhausted. I was the only one with rescue training, but I couldn't manage alone. I could only tie a few knots, protect them tightly so they wouldn't slip, and hold onto the climbing rope with my left hand, bearing the brunt of the pull. I maintained that position, regardless of falling rocks or lashing rain, until my left hand was torn open. Even with bone-deep pain, I didn't let go, and finally, my teammates arrived. When they pulled us up, I was still clutching Celeste's hand, almost unable to let go. But on her first day conscious, the person she asked to see was Finn. To avoid upsetting her, we kept the truth from her. But she became even more unreasonable, convinced I was the cowardly, irresponsible one, and Finn was the heroic, gallant man. I'm truly tired. Let's just leave it at this. If you really want to divorce me for his sake, I have no complaints. I gave a bitter laugh. After all, if she truly wanted a divorce, it meant she no longer loved me. What could I do to hold her? Celeste was too furious to speak. She abruptly reached out and snatched the peace charm I always wore. The warm jade, still carrying my body heat. Realizing what she intended, my eyes widened. No. The sound of the jade shattering echoed in my ears. The 2 characters for peace broke apart, just like our years of love. I couldn't believe it. Faced with her furious eyes, listening to her words strike my heart, one by one. Ryder, I truly regret wasting these years on you. You're just a useless coward, unworthy of being called a hero. I didn't know when she had changed so much. Before Finn came between us, we had been so happy. I remembered our first Valentine's Day together after we started dating. She had taken me to a wishing tree grove to pray for love. Celeste wanted to buy 2 love charms, one for each of us to carry. The vendor, scratching his head apologetically, said, "Sorry, we're all out of love charms today. Only peace charms left." Celeste took the peace charm. "It's fine, this will do." She turned, tying it around my neck herself, smiling sweetly. "Ryder, your job is dangerous. I hope this can protect you, keep you safe, and live to a ripe old age." "What about you?" I had teased. "You should get one too." "No need," Celeste said, taking my hand gently. Behind us is the wishing tree, thousands of red ribbons fluttering in the wind. Her hair also blew in the spring breeze, her eyes bright as stars. "I believe that with you by my side, you can protect me and keep me safe for a lifetime." That day, I thought I was the happiest man in the world. But in the end, her words became truth. We never did get that love charm, and her promise of peace was shattered by her own hand that stormy night. After completing the formalities, Celeste returned home alone. She used my fingerprint to unlock my phone screen, opening the call log. She saw the missed calls I had made to her that night. The first 2, she'd angrily ignored. The subsequent ones had failed to connect due to poor signal. Just like that, we had forever missed each other. She trembled as she opened my messages, only to find my last message was sent to Finn. "Please, don't tell her. She'll blame herself." By the timestamp, it was sent as I was falling, in my dying moments, my consciousness fading. I didn't even remember sending that message. But what had she sent me? She had sent me, "Ryder, just die out there. Don't ever come home." I had tried countless times to get close to her, but she had pushed me away, time and again. She had so many opportunities to save me, so many opportunities to know about my death. But she refused them all. She had, with her own hands, become the final straw that broke me. Even after I died, she posted such venomous words online, slandering my name. "Ryder, I'm so sorry." Celeste pressed my phone to her heart, sobbing uncontrollably, her breath ragged with pain. But then she suddenly raised her hand, glaring fiercely at the ring on her left ring finger. It was the ring Finn had placed on her hand. She violently pulled it off, throwing it into the trash can as if it were an enemy. "Finn, I hate you. Even if you saved me, I want you to pay for Ryder's blood. I want revenge for him." But it was also the ring I had bought for her, a truth she would never have the chance to know. Celeste stood there for a moment. Then, as if remembering something, she rose and walked towards an upstairs room. My phantom pupils constricted. In that room were the portraits I had painted for her when I was pursuing her. After her accident, seeing these things would remind her of unhappy memories, so I had locked the room. Celeste opened the door and walked directly to the largest painting, staring at it intently. After a moment, she suddenly clutched her head. Clearly, her trauma was flaring up again, but she endured the pain, reaching out to touch the canvas. "No, this isn't right." Celeste's eyes slowly cleared, tears falling. She suddenly collapsed to the floor, clutching her head and screaming. "What's wrong?" My soul couldn't help but kneel before her, looking at her anguished face. After we married, her trauma would often resurface. Each time, I was by her side, helping her through it. In my arms, she would slowly calm down. But now, she was alone. Celeste gasped, struggling to her feet, her gaze slowly hardening. No, the person who saved me was injured on their left hand. She remembered. I was stunned. That year, she, Finn, and I were caught in a mountain accident. To save them, my left hand was severely injured, leaving lasting damage. After she woke up, Celeste mistakenly believed Finn was her savior. Finn had a minor injury on his right hand, and Celeste had been heartbroken, turning to blame me. "You hurt him. Now he can't paint anymore. How could you? Those paintings were mine." Finn had never known how to paint, but I couldn't prove it anymore. Whenever I tried to explain the truth to Celeste, her trauma would flare up, and she would scream hysterically. Eventually, I stopped trying to clear my name. As long as she wanted to be with me, I could endure it. But now, seeing her actively seeking the truth, my long-still heart began to pound. Celeste's voice was light, a whisper. This painting is also by a left-handed person. She traced the brushstrokes on the canvas. The strokes were clearly those of a left-handed artist. She suddenly sobbed. But Finn, he always said his right hand was injured, that he couldn't paint for me anymore. She violently flipped the painting over, revealing the signature on the back, Ryder Evans. Celeste couldn't bear it anymore. She broke down, her tears soaking the painting in her hands. It was always you, Ryder. You were the one who saved me, and you were the one who loved me. Why didn't you tell me? What have I done to you? She was completely broken. I had loved her so much. I was an orphan, no father, no mother, accustomed to cold stares. Through my own efforts, I got into college, but because of my poverty, I was often ridiculed. Celeste, however, defended me, saying she wanted to be my big sister, and I could be her bag-carrying little brother. Whatever she said, those people eventually stopped mocking me. Back then, I didn't have money for breakfast, always going to class hungry. Every morning, she would toss me a breakfast. Eat it, she'd say imperiously. How can you carry my bags if you're hungry? Thanks to her, I no longer went hungry. Later, due to my excellent physical fitness, I was scouted by a rescue team. The team leader actively offered me free training and a job. I was thrilled, finally seeing a way out. I eagerly went to tell her the news. She just stared at me blankly, tears falling. Ryder, are you going to leave? Can't you stay? I want you by my side. I hesitated for 2 days and 2 nights, finally deciding to turn down the offer. There were many paths ahead, but there was only one Celeste. Miss her, and I'd never find her again. But before I could tell her my decision, she came to my home. It was a cold winter, and Celeste arrived breathless, her cheeks flushed. She hid her hands behind her back, mysteriously saying, "Bend down." So I did, and felt a warmth around my neck. It was a knitted scarf. The stitches were a bit clumsy, but clearly handmade. She looked at me, clapping her hands. There, now you can go. Take my scarf with you, and it'll be like I'm always by your side. I saw the band-aids on her fingertips, wounds from knitting the scarf. A young woman of privilege like her, sacrificing so genuinely for someone? For a failure like me? I couldn't help but open my mouth. But didn't you say before, Ryder, you'll join the rescue team and become a hero? I can't tie you down forever? Celeste turned, then tilted her head, her eyes shining. If you still want to see me, then work hard and come back soon to be my hero. Because of those words, I endured any hardship. I became the most diligent member of the team. Everyone was curious about my perseverance. Only I knew I pushed myself so hard so I wouldn't disappoint her. Later, I became a skilled and respected rescue worker, completing countless missions, and successfully married her. She never disdained my scars, saying they were my medals. Back then, flowers and applause surrounded me, and my beloved was by my side. I thought my life had finally turned from bitter to sweet. I had eaten all the bitterness and finally waited for the sweetness. I never imagined my life would be an endless range of mountains, one after another. Through a glass partition, Celeste saw a haggard, handcuffed Finn. He looked pathetic. Finn pleaded, "Celeste, I truly didn't mean to." Ryder deliberately provoked me. I just lost my temper. We were good friends. I never wanted him dead. Celeste, you're the victim's family. Please write a letter of mitigation. Ryder is gone. Pursuing my responsibility is useless. He can't come back. After I get out, I'll atone for him. Finn, you're hilarious. Celeste glared at him, her face filled with fury. That year, when you were trapped, weren't you also saved by Ryder? How dare you steal all his credit? How dare you enjoy everything that belonged to him? How dare you? You want to atone? Then go to hell and meet him. Apologize to him there. She flung a cold retort. Fend for yourself. You dared to lie and frame a hero. You must pay with blood. This is your price. She turned to leave, but Finn, with sharp eyes, noticed her empty ring finger and suddenly burst into maniacal laughter. Ha, Celeste. You threw away the ring, didn't you? You don't know, do you? That ring wasn't mine. Ryder bought it for you. He left it with me because he wanted to surprise you, afraid you'd find out. Finn laughed until tears streamed down his face, laughing like a madman. He truly was a devoted fool. A pity he met 2 scoundrels like us. His true heart was completely wasted. Celeste clutched her head, disbelieving. But you gave it to me. How could it be his? Finn, having nothing left to lose, roared. Was that wedding planning team not enough for you to realize the truth? Celeste, don't pretend to be so deeply grieving. How are you any better than me? His death is on you. You mistook the wrong man for your hero. You yourself pushed him out of the house. If we're going to hell, we'll go together. Don't think you're innocent. Returning home, Celeste wanted to find anything related to me, but found nothing. Our marriage certificate, wedding photos, my medals, and commendations, all had been destroyed by her in a fit of rage. Now they were in the waste disposal plant, compacted into a pile of refuse, just as I had become a handful of ashes, silently resting in an urn. She had no way to remember me. In the midst of the storm, Celeste ran out of the house, falling several times, stumbling towards the waste disposal plant near her home. Her face was smeared with mud, and she desperately searched, but it was futile. She knelt on the ground, crying out my name, but no one answered. Passers-by whispered, "Is that woman crazy? She looks unstable." Someone recognized her and started a live stream. "Everyone, look. Isn't this the cruel woman who slandered Ryder online a few days ago? She really looks insane, otherwise she wouldn't have said such vicious things." A child ran up and spat, hands on hips. "Bad lady. Don't curse Uncle Ryder. He's a hero." The child's mother quickly pulled him away. "Darling, don't go near crazy people, you'll catch it." Celeste, who had always been so proud, offered no rebuttal, no reaction. She just staggered home. She wanted to find even a single item related to me, but realized that in her anger a few days ago, she had thrown away almost everything. Back then, Finn had watched me leave and sneered, "Celeste, he's left you. Don't keep these things." Celeste had waved a dismissive hand. "Throw them away." And so, all my daily belongings were discarded. The house was empty. No trace of me remained. As if I had never lived there, never loved her for so many years. She opened her phone and saw a post. Ryder Evans was not Celeste Lewis's husband. Celeste Lewis was unworthy of him. Ryder Evans is our hero. We will always remember him. Celeste stood stunned for a moment, then finally let out a bitter laugh. "Yes, I am unworthy." After saying this, all strength seemed to drain from her body, leaving her pale and withered. She walked into the room, no longer locked, and knelt before a portrait of herself. It was Celeste, painted by me. Celeste, from the year she loved me most. Celeste, who had once promised to love me forever. In my eyes, her smile had been pure, innocent, and beautiful, full of love. But now, her face was smudged and tear-stained, no longer the same. Celeste knelt there, before her own radiant smile, sobbing silently. On the day Finn was sentenced, Celeste came to my grave, carrying a bouquet of white flowers. "Ryder, I came specifically to tell you. Finn, he received his just punishment." She bowed deeply before my tombstone. "Next, it's my turn." I watched her silently. In truth, my soul should have long since dissipated into the cycle of reincarnation. But perhaps her deep regret had held me back, keeping me here. In the days that followed, due to her past actions, her company's stock plummeted. To cut losses, she handed the company over to her subordinates, withdrawing from the business world entirely. She deleted all her social media accounts, living in seclusion. She began to pursue extreme sports, mountain climbing, skydiving. Celeste tried them all, one after another. Often, people would recognize her and point. What a heartless woman, doing such a thing and still having the nerve to travel and enjoy herself everywhere. She never responded, silently preparing for her next challenge. Finally, late one night, she murmured before my photograph, "Ryder, I thought I could live for you. But each time I participate in extreme sports, when I experience being close to death, a strange joy fills my heart. You were my hero, and I wronged you. Can you give me a chance to atone? I really want to see you, Ryder. After Finn's sentencing, I'll come meet you, all right?" No one replied, but she smiled foolishly. "So it's a date." And so, I watched her drive to the mountain where I had fallen, step by step climbing to its desolate peak. The sky was beautiful, clear and blue, the sun shining down on her. She walked to the very edge of the precipice, the wind whipping at her hair, the clouds a soft, inviting blanket below. "Wait for me, Ryder," she whispered, and a single tear, like a tiny diamond, caught the sun as she took a final, irreversible step. I felt a sudden warmth, a sense of completion, as her spirit, finally free, drifted up to meet mine. Two souls reunited in the vast, boundless sky.